day, and 18 Pitt Panthers will never walk on that field again. You gotta love the smell of football in the fall in downtown Pittsburgh. And the Pitt Panthers can be a big player in the Big East race for the win today as they bring in their offense to take on the Louisville Cardinals. From Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cars.com presents ESPN College Football. 8th-ranked Louisville seeking a 10th win and trying to get closer to the BCS. Taking on the Pitt Panthers, who are 6-5 and have lost 4 in a row. Now there has already been movement in the Big East today. Rutgers has won. Louisville, you see their position. West Virginia lost to South Florida. They need a ton of help to have any chance of winning the conference. And there you see Dave Wanstead's Pitt Panthers at 2-4. We welcome you to Pittsburgh. I'm Dave Lamont, along with Ray Bentley. Vince Welch will join us shortly. We, by the way, want to thank you for taking some time out of your family time to enjoy this football game today. We're excited about it, Ray, because we think offense is going to be on display. We've got guys we are very confident are going to make the next level.
Yeah, and we'll start with Pittsburgh. Their quarterback, Tyler Palko, is having an outstanding year. He is vastly improved in terms of managing the football game. They tell him throw it to the open guy or throw it away. He had a problem with that. Always tried to make something special happen. Now he has become more disciplined in getting the ball to these two outstanding receivers. Kinder, a big play guy, can go up and get any football, and then Hoderick Turner is a guy that can just be steady, make runs after the catch, and use his big body to get things done.
It's no surprise that Louisville has an explosive offense. They always do under Bobby Petrino. And this bunch captained by a guy who just looks like a Sunday quarterback.
Yeah, Brian Brom is outstanding. He is healthy now, recovered from that thumb injury. He's got the zip back on the ball. He's your prototype, sit back in the pocket and pick him apart kind of guy. And then Harry Douglas is his favorite receiver, the leading Big East receiver in terms of yards. And he is a guy that can do it running after the catch. And then Mario Urrutia is their big play guy. He's got an opportunity to take it all the way every time he gets his hands on the football.
Now, there are always the factors we look for in every football game: offense, defense, special teams. I mean, you factor in emotion today, but there is a fifth factor that's going to be huge. And earlier we caught up with Vince Welch, who's going to explain the field.
Normally, when talking about home field advantage, you're discussing that a little extra bit of energy that the home team gets from the enthusiasm of the fans. But today, it could literally be a home field advantage. There were 4 high school football games played on this surface last night. And earlier today, the grounds crew was out trying to cover up some of the dirt areas, particularly between the hash marks. And it literally is just a dirt area. And as you can see, there's a little bit of green cover, but it's nothing more than dirt here between the hash marks. The field can get slippery at this area of the surface as well. And Ray Bentley, I know that you believe that could play into the hands of the Pitt Panthers.
Well, it could be a big factor because the Louisville team is built around speed. And when you have a questionable surface, slippery, muddy, or whatever it is, then the slower team has the advantage. In Pittsburgh's defense, they're mudders. They're a little slower. And I'm an old mudder myself, and I can tell you that may help them out a lot today, Dave.
Well, so we'll see about this home field advantage as Senior Day being celebrated by the Pitt fans and quarterback Tyler Palko. Getting a lot of love from a good crowd here at Heinz Field in downtown Pittsburgh. Now we'll see what he does in the game next on ESPN's College Football.
He has 4 sacks. Those are the guys that bring the heat, and they have great speed along that front line.
We have a first down for the first time in this game. And a little trickery. Didn't work. It's really not working well. That ball goes out of bounds and belongs to Louisville. Recovery looks like Jonathan Russell on the recovery.
That thing gets punched out late. It's just a jet sweep type play. Going to hand it off quick, try and race him to the corner is Pistano, and right there it gets kicked out at the end.
That was Peanut Whitehead, Ray, who was added to the starting lineup today in place of Earl Heyman, and he forced the fumble. Now the crowd here is a little bit irritated. They thought this ball was out of bounds and it was recovered. And it will be reviewed by our referee, Gerald McGinn. Actually, he won't do the reviewing. Somebody in a booth will take care of that for him.
Yeah, it's actually Nick Trainer is our replay official today. He'll be looking at it. But take another look at this. You see, he doesn't quite have possession, drops it, picks it up there. He's got that football in bounds, in my opinion.
I don't blame him for reviewing it, but I think you're right. It looked like he had it. The ball doesn't touch the ground when he lands.
And
right.
He was thinking it definitely is. And the thing for Louisville is they've got so many other things going for them that they don't necessarily have to win the turnover battle to win every game.
And Stripling goes into the tailback spot. Now they empty the backfield. He goes all the way to the far side. Plenty of time for Marubia underneath. And he'll get it down to the 19-yard line before Revis knocked him down. That's a 22-yard pickup.
And they had a linebacker trying to cover him underneath. You're going to see right here is Bennett. He's a linebacker. He's going to be looking outside, and he's going to chase Urrutia across the field. You see, that's just a mismatch in speed. There's no way they can expect Bennett to track Urrutia across the field all day long.
Louisville has one of the country's best kickers in Art Carmody if they need it. Smith the tailback now. He and Stripling have been rotating a lot so far. And Smith trying to bounce to the outside, and he breaks the tackle, trying to get to the end zone. Touchdown Louisville in 2 plays. They make Pitt pay for the turnover.
Oh, sloppy tackling by the Pitt Panther defense, which has kind of been inconsistent in terms of their tackling. And when they don't tackle well, boy, they have problems. We've already missed 2 tackles on this deal.
I'll tell you, Ray, this play didn't look like it was going to go anywhere at first.
Yeah, it almost looked as if it was a bad play until they pulled the guard away from where the running back went. He stopped and then cut it back the other way.
No, wait a minute. Maybe they thought he didn't get into the end zone. So we'll go back to the review.
Take a look ourselves and see if he does get into the end zone or not. Colby Smith taking it outside. You see him make the move there, break the tackle. Let's see if that knee goes down before he gets in. I don't think so. The hand hit the ground, but nothing else hit the ground. I think that's going to be a touchdown. You see again, no elbows or arms, anything hitting the ground, just the hand. You can do that. That's going to be a touchdown.
The last review didn't take very long, and we guess this one won't be a very difficult decision either for the replay booth. Well, Dave Wanstead promised us no sacks. He didn't promise us no turnovers.
No.
After review, video confirms the call on the field. Touchdown is good.
So Carmody on for the PAT. Trying to make it 7-0 Louisville.
This Louisville offense, you think of them as a pass offense, a team that likes to throw the ball, but they rush for over 190 a game as well. They're one of the more balanced offensive football teams in the nation.
Actually, the only team, I think, Ray, to average 190 on the ground and 275 in the air. No other team in college football can do that. And you saw their quick strike ability. It only took 2 plays and 41 yards to put the Cardinals in front 7-0. You're watching college football on ESPN as we try to find out if Pitt can respond. Score in time. There's Derek Turner, who caught his 7th touchdown pass of the year. But the first time he's caught one from Derek Kinder, I can assure you. As Pittsburgh leads Louisville 14-7. Oh, we talked about this already, Ray, about the turnover situation with Pitt being so good and Louisville being so poor, and that is unbelievable that they can have a 9-1 record and be -1.
Well, that shows you that they're very good at other things, but it also shows you, boy, we could be so much better if we protected the football and then took it away. You know, their fumbles against Rutgers really is what hurt them when they lost that ball game.
And a fumble here puts the Panthers in front 14-7. This will be returned. Spillman, he's dangerous now. Number 10 in the NCAA in kick returns. Looking for a hole. He's got one. And a saving tackle for the Pitt Panthers that time by Reggie Carter, number 21, who saved the tackle after a 35-yard return. Vince Wells.
Guys, Dave Wanstead was talking to us earlier this week about his seniors, and even though this is a group that he has not recruited here to Pittsburgh, he talked about how much he wanted to win this game for that group. Only 12 seniors on this Pitt team, and Wanstead has grown to love each and every one of them. He says he wants to get this game so they'll get a bowl game or a better bowl game, and also give them the opportunity to showcase their skills a little bit more. And he is really outspoken in that regard as to what the seniors, even though there's only 12 of them, what they mean to this program.
All right, thank you, Vince. A short gain there on the pass to Colby Smith. Brom had plenty of time to scout out his options, but good coverage that time by the Panthers D.
Yeah, it was a real late developing route, so he needed that time, but it was so covered up down the field, he had to dump it off. And then I was impressed with the pursuit of the Panther defense getting after it.
course, those seniors that Dave Wanstead is so fond of were not the players that he recruited. Walt Harris, who's now the head coach at Stanford, brought those guys in. But Dave grew to like them very, very quickly. Not much of a gain on time for the Cardinals. Brings up 3rd down, and they'll have about 5 or 6, looks like. Joe Clermont and among others on the stock, Rashawn Duncan also making a stop.
You see Bobby Petrino over there signaling in the plays. His brother Paul Petrino's upstairs in the booth, and he kind of makes suggestions, and then Bobby will make the final decision on what play he wants. And when we talked to Paul Petrino, he said, you know what, that's the one thing my brother does really well. He can call some plays now.
They empty the backfield. Down the middle. Great catch that time. That's Harry Douglas. Brian Bennett on the stop, but Douglas got in front of his man and makes the catch. 1st down, Louisville.
Just an outstanding throw from Jeff Brom. It's just going to be, you're going to see, it's going to be man-to-man coverage. Blades, the linebacker's going to head over this way. So you know it's man-to-man across the board. And you're going to get just a great move by Douglas to get inside his defender. And again, they got him matched up on Brian Bennett, number 44, a linebacker. You cannot survive trying to cover Louisville's receivers with linebackers.
Looks like they faked a little bit of an option to go back to Smith, who cuts back right to the middle of the field. Looks like he has carried it for a 1st down for the Cardinals. That's an 11-yard pickup. Tackle made by Gus Mustakis.
And that's just a little misdirection draw play, because obviously Louisville's seeing that the Pitt Panther defense is fired up right now. They're flying to the football, so you want to hit them with a little misdirection, try and gash them that way, and it's pretty successful.
Louisville makes things happen in bunches. They do it quickly. Good play action. Might be looking at Douglas again. He is, and it's a Louisville touchdown. Boy, that was so easy.
Well, again, a misdirection. Brom rolls to the right, sets up, and throws all the way back against the grain, and the receiver wide open for that touchdown. We got a late flag on this.
And this touchdown will not count because there is a holding call against Louisville. Wipe it out. It never happened.
Legal block in the back on the offense. Number 33. 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay 1st down.
That's Colby Smith.
Colby Smith was the tailback in that last setup. It's hard to kind of see it from this look right now, but right there it is. Right there, you see he pushed him in the back at the end, and he's outside of that clip zone, which is right at the line of scrimmage. When you get back behind the line of scrimmage, you cannot hit somebody in the back.
So forget about that touchdown. Instead, it's going to be 1st down and 20. Fake the screen to one back. Go to the next underneath. Big hit. And that's Blades on the stop. Not a surprise to see that. Spillman was the receiver. And there's Benny Blades, former Miami Hurricane and a longtime NFL star. That's HB's father.
Take a look at this play at the end. Blades in the middle in the zone coverage. Comes up and puts a little plastic on Harry Douglas.
Well, Blades, if he has a huge day, will pass another Pitt immortal. We'll tell you about that in a moment for all-time tackles. This is Smith. They could have used Blades on that one. Breaks the tackle almost. He actually dragged Jameel Brady quite a ways, 10 yards on the carry. But if a huge day happens for HB Blades, 19 tackles, he'll pass Hugh Green on the all-time tackles list for 2nd place. Here is HB and his dad.
Emotional moment for the Blades family there. Everybody knows Benny Blades played at Miami, was an All-American there, won a national championship. A lot of people thought his son would go to Miami. He said he felt more like a Pittsburgh guy when he came up here, was comfortable, blue-collar type guy. He said he'd fit in better here.
We're behind the receiver. That'll bring up 4th down and about 8. Well, HB Blades is from South Florida, but this is his kind of town.
Well, he said, I feel that way, blue collar. You bring your hard hat to work. He loves the city and the atmosphere. So the people here love the game of football, and that's why he came here. It's going to be his last opportunity to play today, and it's going to be an emotional one. And you saw some of the emotion when he hugged his father, and you see the emotion in the way he's playing this ball game.
Carmody is on, and he has made 15 consecutive field goals. He is a Lou Groza Award finalist. And he tucks that one into bed nicely. So Louisville gets on the board. They had 6. It was taken away by a penalty. So Pittsburgh maintains the lead with 1:59 to go, 14-10 after the field goal by Carmody, the all-time leading scorer. You know, when we talked to HB, he and his father really weren't.
Time, and he said, boy, that would mean a lot to me because everybody knows what a great player Hugh Green was. You see his picture up all over the place at their facility, and he just felt that that would be a monumental accomplishment.
Third down and short, and this time Stevens Howling is just hauled down by Malik Jackson for a loss on the play. And for the first time today, Pitts Panthers will be forced to punt, but they'll do that when the second quarter starts. Nice field in downtown Pittsburgh with Ray Bentley and Vince Welch, who's on the field. I'm Dave Lamont. What do you take out of the first quarter with the Panthers in front of them?
I think the Panthers are playing outstanding. You know, they forced that turnover, capitalized right away. But prior to that, an 80-yard drive with Tyler Palko putting the ball all over the place where he needed to. They played very well, and defensively, they've held up. They got a break getting that penalty on that touchdown, but so far so good.
We talked at the top of the show with Vince about the field conditions after this punt here by Gressel. I'd like to find out what you think of it so far, because the field here took a beating yesterday. Tough snap and a funny looking little kick. This might roll a lot though. You got some room here. Spillman, he'll take this into Panthers territory. So excellent field position for the Cardinals here. And Ray, what do you think? How do you think this field has held up so far after 4 high school games yesterday?
I think it's held up pretty dang good, as a matter of fact. You know, when I went and walked out on it earlier, the thing about it is they rolled it, so it's a very hard surface. And even though you have dirt, as long as it's not mud, you're going to be all right. And, you know, it might get chewed up, we'll stick around, see what happens later on as they continue to play. But so far, so good. I have not seen a lot of slippage.
Well, Louisville's one touchdown drive was a short field. And they have a short field here down the middle. Urrutia wide open. He'll just walk into the end zone. That is a 42-yard touchdown pass. And again, they made it look really easy.
Well, the key was the great protection. I mean, Brian Brown, he just sat in there and waited. And finally, Urrutia came across and beat Jamel Brady on a kind of an inside post cut. And Brady just didn't have the speed to hang with it.
And that was a concern, I think, for Pitt, realizing they're just not as fast as the Cardinals are.
Right? You try to, manufacture speed. You do different things to try and do that. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to cover their guy when he's running down the field like that.
Good snap on the PAT, and now Louisville has taken back the lead they had early in the first quarter, 17-14. It's Brom and Urrutia hooking up yet again for the Louisville Cardinals. Now we'll see if Tyler Palko and the Pitt Panthers can counter when we come back. This is ESPN's College Football, presented by Cars.com.
Quarterback faces, and then at the same time being critical of the plays that the quarterback doesn't make. And he says sometimes they go back and forth over that line, but in general they've got a really good relationship to where they are able to kind of air out some differences, as you said, and they were definitely airing out their differences just a moment ago.
And you have to have that kind of relationship in order to be successful, because this is a highly intense game, and there's so much time and preparation that goes into it, and it means so much to them that you have to be able to have your spats and then immediately move on.
This is Spillman at the goal line. Running straight ahead. Didn't make one cutback and got decent field position out of that. About a 25-yard return. Time for our Aflac trivia question. We like this one, but I'm so proud of myself. I got it right. Who is the only other player besides Tony Dorsett to win a Heisman, a national championship, and a Super Bowl, and be voted into both the college and pro football halls of fame? Want to find out and you want to cheat and impress your friends? Go to page 711 of the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia. We will give you a moment to do that. Now, do you know who this is?
Yes, I do, because I was there when you guessed it correctly.
Okay, I was trying to set you up there.
No thanks.
Just this once I was trying anyway. Colby Smith, the tailback for the Cardinals. And Pitt doing a good job that time. They strung that play out. Joe Clermont and H.B. Blades in there. Well, Louisville has not been perfect today at all, right?
Now they made some mistakes in terms of tackling. 7 missed tackles, dropped a pass. They got the turnover and then just 1 penalty. That's not too bad for, you know, a quarter and a half. But the 7 missed tackles, that's unconscionable. You can't miss that many tackles in this amount of time. You have to start tackling better.
2nd and long for Bobby Petrino's team. Stripling in the game out wide from his regular tailback spot. Brom winds up, hits Arudia. That's right at the marker.
Brom's pass complete to number 7.
Well, they continue to have a heck of a game between OU and OSU. Let's go to Reese Davis.
All right, guys, checking in once again on that.
For the Governor's Cup, of course. Thank you, Reese. It is a first down for the Cardinals. Anthony Allen gets into the tailback spot right now and gets the carry. Louisville loves to rotate those tailbacks. He's a freshman from Tampa. He's run for over 300 yards this season. All right, well, we gave you time to go look this one up if you have the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia. A great Christmas gift if you don't. Now, who is the only other player besides Tony Dorsett to win a Heisman, a national championship, a Super Bowl, and make the College and Pro Football Halls of Fame? It would be USC's Marcus Allen. You might see him on the sidelines tonight patrolling when Notre Dame plays the Trojans in the Coliseum. That'll be a first down for the Cardinals.
Again, Allen, the running back.
And Allen, the runner again. Rashad Duncan, a sophomore from Belgrade, Florida. So many Floridians on this Pitt Panther team. And you'd think, well, because Dave Wannstedt was on the Dolphins. No, Walt Harris got a lot of those guys.
Yeah, and a lot of people go in there because there's so many excellent high school football players down there. And, you know, one of them is Anthony Allen, who's just gotten the ball a couple times in a row. And I've been greatly impressed with him in the limited time that he's had in this backfield. He's proved to be quite a weapon.
They send Stripling out wide. Brom to Rutia. They're having a hard time stopping him inside the 10.
Boy, he just ran past Kennard Cox. That was just your old-fashioned go route. Just run down the field as fast as you can, and I'll throw it to you. And that's exactly what they did. Watch the speed right here. It's kind of a press right there. Kennard doesn't really alter the route with the hands on him. He kind of step for step. He never got his head turned around to look for the ball, but his Urruti is raw speed that blew past him and enabled this play to work for Louisville. And then the throw by Brom was just perfect.
43 yards. And Allen is back into the tailback spot. Stretch play, and it does not work at all. And who else but H.B. Blades?
Nice play by Blades, sneaking in behind the blocking up front and then hitting that open window and then angling to make the play. And that's what a good inside linebacker will do. A lot of guys can run up through there and make it look like they did something. He's able to make the angles to make those plays.
Well, we've talked about the field. Let's take a look at it. Whoop. That's Douglas.
And that's on the outside where the field isn't chewed up.
Right. You see right there in the center. If you're wondering why it looks so bad, we'll explain here in a moment. That is nothing going on there. Phillips got in there and really delivered the blow to slow that play down. 4 high school playoff games were played at Heinz Field on Friday, starting at 10:30 in the morning, and they didn't finish till about 10:30 Friday night.
And thank goodness there's no rain, because if we had rain in the last 24 hours or so, this thing would be a quagmire.
3rd down and goal from the 9. Stripling the tailback. 4 receivers for Brom to choose from. To the end zone. Touchdown, Louisville. They go to the tight end, Barnage, and the Cardinals are back in front.
This is just a nice job of Barnage continuing to work. When your quarterback gets flushed, he's scrambled, he's out on the perimeter, he's going to keep working. Here's Barnage right there in the slot. Watch him, he's going to get outside, and he sees, all right, my quarterback's working, I got to keep working. And the defender totally lost track of him. That's Clint Session, that linebacker, outside linebacker. And you got to plaster when you get that situation. That means you find a receiver and you plaster to him when that quarterback's scrambling.
The PAT low but good, and Louisville retakes the lead. We have been, as we thought we might be, back and forth with offense. Now, can Dave Wanstead's Panthers do something against Bobby Petrino's defense? We'll find out when we return from Pittsburgh. Rivalry Week, presented by Remington on ESPN tonight at 7:45 Eastern. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD. And for more information, of course, log on to ESPN.com. Palco's numbers very strong.
80% completion right now.
Well, he's done that before. His last 8 games, 73%. So he is still in tune. And it's intercepted and then dropped. And it's going to be called incomplete. Incomplete.
What a play by Derek Kinder, getting in there and ripping that ball out of the hands.
That was Nate Harris who had it. And Nate Harris who couldn't hang on to it.
He had it. You're right, he had it, Dave. He's got it. Palco, this is the first bad decision in terms of making this throw I think that he's made. Right there, it's in the hands. And Nate Harris has it until Kinder reaches in there with those strong hands he has and rips it out.
Looked like a pretty solid call by the officials also. Harris, another player from South Florida in this game. Unbelievable. Both these two schools had so many Floridians on their rosters. That's a dangerous throw right there, and it's intercepted by Louisville. That's Gavin Smart down the sideline. And he is finally squashed by Jeff Ota. But Gavin Smart with a pick for Louisville and a 21-yard return.
Boy, and that was a dangerous throw. Palco tried to fit it in between a corner and a safety in a cover 2 look. And if you don't put a lot of zip on that ball, here you see, here's the safety. He's going to go back. He's got deep half. This corner is going to sit back here, and he's going to have the flats. And what that receiver up top is going to do is try and get between the two of them. Right there he is between, and now you got to throw that ball a little sooner, but I really think you hold on to that one because the safety did a nice job coming over there and making the hit, John Russell.
Well, here is a significant test for Pitt's defense. Louisville has ripped through them in the second quarter. Screen it out to Stripling. And he is set up and knocked over that time. Good hit by Rashad Duncan. Well, coming up at halftime, we'll check in with our buddy Reese Davis for the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report. The Florida Gators, yes, they won in Tallahassee, but it wasn't very easy, and a score that made this crowd happy. The Mountaineers losing. And, of course, a look at tonight's game, the collision in the Coliseum, the Irish and the Trojans on ABC.
Second down, 7 at the 31.
Louisville trying to win the Big East Championship. They will need help, however, from West Virginia. Brown, plenty of time. He goes to his under. Oh, what a hit! They call that a fumble. They do. It's Pitt ball. Mostakis comes away with it. And H.B. Blades with the huge hit.
Well, they love to run that underneath crossing route, and if you're an inside linebacker and you expand the field of your vision, you'll see it coming, which you saw Blades did, and then he just puts the helmet right on the football, pops it loose, and then Mostakis, kind of Johnny on the spot, running to the football, came up with one.
That was Barnage who took the punishment. Look at this.
That's a middle linebacker's dream right there. A receiver coming late underneath over the middle, and you see it coming. Get yourself in position and deliver the blow.
I've never seen you happier.
I kind of enjoyed that one.
We have a timeout on the field, and we'll return as Dave Wanstead's Pitt Panthers got the ball back on a turnover.
Gus Mostakis is under review. The question is whether or not Barnage had control of the football after H.B. Blades hit him. Be the judge yourself. 1-2 steps, and he gets hit right after he's trying to tuck the ball away. In my book, that's a fumble. I might be partial towards a linebacker making a big hit over the middle, but I think Barnage has it. He catches this. One step there, second foot comes down, he's putting it away. To me, that's a catch.
And he had complete control of the football also. There wasn't an issue whether he was juggling or not.
No, he's trying to stash it under his arm. He's got it right there. He's putting it away, and he gets clobbered.
Well, it was funny. We were talking about H.B. Blades. We asked Dave Wanstead, what about Blades' pro prospects? And he said, you know, Blades is one of those guys that has that strike against him. Oh, he's not tall enough. He's not big enough. He's not fast enough. The guy's just a player.
Yeah, and I think he'll have a nice career in the NFL. And as Dave Wanstead said, he's going to be one of those guys that every year they're going to try and replace him with someone stronger, younger, you know, faster and all those things, and he'll sweat it out on cut day. But, you know, before you know it, he could have a 10-year career. And I was in those shoes. I know how that is.
Well, the comparison that Dave Wanstead made, it was to Zach Thomas, my Miami Dolphins fine linebacker, who's pretty secure now, but certainly in the beginning of his career, they said the same things about him. Vince?
Pumping life into a sideline. There were a lot of Pittsburgh players hanging their head after that interception, and when Blades made that hit, this whole sideline erupted, and it wasn't a play that just the defensive players appreciated. As Blades came off the field, even the offensive guys came over and gave him a pat on the shoulders for that big hit. By the way, HB stands for Horatio Benedict, and that is his dad's name, Benny Blades. And well, with a name like Horatio Benedict, maybe we understand now why Benny went by Benny, right?
It also stands for hit Barnage, which is exactly what he did on that play. This official review, Ray, has taken a long time. Let's take a look at this as it happened.
In real speed. We won't slow it down this time, and that's...
And here we go.
At the review, there's indisputable video evidence that it was not a catch. It's an incomplete pass. Third down, 1:27 on the clock.
And that probably was the argument that what do they reset the clock at? Wow. Well, there was a brief moment where the ball was in the crook of his left arm and began to leak out, and I guess that's what they looked at.
Well, if that's indisputable evidence, I'm going to be here to dispute it. So it's no longer indisputable. But I'm telling you, I think he has the football.
I do too. That's a poor call. I hate to pick on the replay official, but I agree with you.
And now it's up to the Pittsburgh team, who got the lift off of that, to continue with that momentum and try to get a stop, at least force a field goal here by Louisville. And they got a 3rd and long, which they're in a good shape to do that.
But Brown has had so much time. Pitt has not been able to generate any real pressure. And this has this crowd now in an angry mood at Heinz Field.
And they're pressing across the board.
Here they come. Down the middle, Urrutia again. Oh, they held him. Yeah, that's an easy pass interference call that time. Even I could see that. Rivas on the coverage.
Yeah, and Rivas let Urrutia get the inside leverage on him. And once you let a big man like that get that position on you, you really have very few options at that point. You see him, he's going to be outside. He's favoring outside. He doesn't have a...
On the defense, number 25, 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic first down.
To me, that's curious coverage. Rivas, an obvious outside technique, but there was no safety in the middle of the field. If you're going to play man-to-man with nobody free deep, you have to play inside technique, or you'll give that up all day long.
What a turnaround. We thought this ball was going to belong to Pitt at the 38-yard line. Now, here's Colby Smith. The flag comes in behind the play, however, thrown by the referee. So this run may be wiped out. Kennard Cox on the tackle.
Holding on the offense, number 78, 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay first down.
And that's Giacomini is the tackle that gets this thing. You're going to see right over here. Well, they switched it, but right here's the holding.
That's 79 of Foster.
Yeah, they gave the wrong number, but the right tackle, Foster, is the one guilty, and he did hold on that play.
6'7", 327, Bernardo Foster from Ripley, Tennessee. Now 1st and 20. Smith, the tailback, stays in the block. Brown, look at the timing. A pass is tipped. Well, the lineman did that whole thing, Ray. At least if you can't get there, try to disrupt the passing lane.
Right, and I'm watching film on Braum. That's the one thing he does, get a number of balls tipped every game. And he's just got to be able to find better windows to throw the football through. But you're right about the time he had. He had all day to do this thing.
It's Duncan on the tip. He's from Florida. Bellblade. Well, I have not heard this crowd so far in the first half this into the game as they are right now trying to help their Panthers defense. They just can't get to Braun. And he can find his guy right at the marker. That's Douglas. And that may be a first down. That's about a 20-yard play.
And Pitt continues to rush with just 4. Just that defensive line, which, you know, is a little bit undermanned. They've lost a couple of starters due to injuries. Chris McKillop out, Doug Fulmer out, both out for the season. They lost another guy, Mick Williams, who had been in there and made some downs, made some plays for them. So they got younger guys in there. not their first line all the way across, and they're not able to get the pressure with just 4.
Louisville is 49 out of 52 in the red zone this year.
Here's HB sitting right up here going to get some.
Willie? No. Instead, it'll be a touchdown with Anthony Allen. Tell you what, you go back to that review, and there's a flag down. Hold on. Louisville had 1 touchdown wiped out with a flag. Will it be a second one?
And more importantly, a 3rd and 1.
Holding on the offense. Number 89. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction. Replay 3rd down.
Second time the Cardinals have had a touchdown taken away because of a penalty. The last time it happened, they had to settle for a field goal. And Louisville is called for a timeout with 45 seconds remaining. Well, let's find out what's going to be going on in your living rooms at halftime with Reese Davis.
All right, guys, coming up on the Pontiac Performance.
Or maybe the hottest kicker in the country, Carmody. Made 16 straight.
Blades.
It is blocked by Blades. Who else for Pitt? He wanted to have a big day as a senior, and he's done it. Well, you couldn't even see Ray. He got in there so fast you couldn't even see the holder.
It was unbelievable. Nobody touched him. Right up the middle, nobody touched him. That's a grievous error by that field goal team. And Blades just comes from depth. Here he is. He's going to come from depth. And you're going to see him. Actually, he's going to run up inside there. And the left guard blocks outside. The center blocks down on the nose. And they leave a huge gap for Blades to run through untouched. He almost took it off the tee.
I was going to say, you normally, look at the angle, you normally never see a kick blocked that quickly. So now Pitt, clock running on them already, so they've only got about 20 seconds. Not sure if they're going to be able to do a whole lot here.
Bobby Petrino's still upset over those 2 holding calls that cost him a touchdown.
Yep. Oh, intercepted, dropped. That would have been yet another wild turnaround, but Rod Counsell couldn't hang on.
Boy, it hit him right between the 1 and the 4, too. Another mistake by Tyler Palko. He got away with that one.
Have we had enough action for everybody in the last couple of minutes? Everybody satisfied?
I'll tell you what, Big East football has taken some lumps over the years, but I think they've come back great this year, and they've got some of the top teams in the country.
It's reflected in the standings, although West Virginia took one on the chin today, as Reese told you, and he'll tell you all about that at halftime. And they'll play it safe here. Let's run Collins and undoubtedly run out the clock. This has been a crazy first half, especially the last couple of minutes. Louisville will go into the dressing room with the 7-point advantage. Our halftime score has Louisville in front 24-17. Now let's join Reese Davis. Time for the Pontiac Performance halftime report.
Short passing game that they were working out early on with the 1-step drop, the 3-step, get it out quick, negate that rush, and try to make plays after the catch.
The Panthers in their gold senior day. Tyler Palko's last opportunity to play in front of the home folks. And Pitt trying to get to a bowl game. If they win this, they'll get 7 and they'll be in. And at 6-6, well, you don't know if they'll be in a bowl game. As Dave said, joke with us, we've been bowl eligible for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And they started out their season 6-1. So here's Robinson. I tell you one thing, Louisville's done a very good job with their kick coverage, but they are not completely happy. And Bobby Petrino spoke with our Vince Welch earlier, and the coach said what made him angry about the first half.
We needed to get some points out of the break. We got a couple touchdowns called back. I'd like to see the penalties. I'd like to see them on video. And then we got the field goal blocked at the end. Our defense has got to play in the second half. Offensively, we're moving the ball. We just got to get in the end zone.
Thanks, Coach.
And the intensity of Bobby Petrino right there. We had some flags after the play.
Dead ball, personal foul. Pittsburgh, number 1. Dead ball, ball center foul on Louisville, number 46. Penalties offset, first down.
That's Terrence Butler for Louisville and Cedric McGee for Pittsburgh hit with those penalties. Well, 11 points, 2 touchdowns, and we're assuming the extra points will be made because they have an excellent kicker. And of course, they got a field goal out of one of their canceled touchdowns, but the other canceled touchdown led to a blocked field goal. So here is Tyler Palko, his last half at home in his college career. They fake the reverse. Stevens howling, and he'll maybe get a couple of yards there. Let's get to the first half stats, and they're brought to you by Remington. Ray, anything you see here that really jumps out?
Nah, it's a pretty even ball game. You know, it's kind of, you see what's on the scoreboard, and it does reflect in the statistics right now. The turnovers, pretty much even. You know, you throw that blocked field goal in there as a turnover, and then it would be even. So, pretty even ball game.
Second down and 8. Stevens howling the tailback. There's that 3-step drop. It was so successful. They throw out to their right and get a first down. So that side in particular, Ray, of that field, they have worked over and over again. Oderick Turner on the stop. Good catch.
And you're going to see Turner up top here just run a little slant route, and he comes off slow to kind of to keep that distance, because that corner is going to backpedal, and if you run fast, you're going to run right into him. He wanted to create and keep that separation so he could step inside for that slant, and then Tyler Palko accurate with the football.
Gavin Smart on the stop. Collier into the tailback spot now. He carried a couple of times in the first half, not this time. Palko again. Here's some room. Into Louisville territory. That's Stevens howling. His 16th catch of the year results in 29 Panthers yards.
Oh, and Stephen Howling is an excellent receiver, not to mention a pretty good running back. He's going to be right here. You're going to see him run up, and there's going to be a huge cushion between him and the man that's assigned to cover him. You see the back pedal, and he breaks underneath it, and there's some uncertainty there by Brandon Sharp as far as covering, and he didn't jump that receiver right away. Well, you get a guy that open and who's that quick in the field, you're going to get some good run after the catch yards.
So we wondered how would the Panthers respond when they open up this third quarter, and we're getting a pretty good answer. Palko under fire, lobs it downfield, and missed his man, Nate Byam, the freshman tight end of the game. I think Palko is just perfectly satisfied in having that ball go out of bounds.
And take a look at the passing chart from Palko, and you look at all these short routes that he's been throwing out to each side, and he's been really good to his right. 8 for 8 over there, and the majority of those are those one-step, just quick fires out there, get the ball to that receiver, take advantage of the cushion, and let him make a move. And they've made a lot of plays and a lot of yards running that kind of a scheme.
Could be changing the play here. Does the quarterback really ever do that just for show?
Yeah, you'll do it for show. You kind of dummy it up once in a while. You don't want them to get into exactly what your audibles are.
Well, that play was just completely destroyed by Malik Jackson, the junior from Dunwoody, Georgia, down to the sidelines, and Vince Welch.
Ray Bentley talking about how Palko is finding the right man, and they're turning those plays into some big yardage. Palko and Matt Cavanaugh, the offensive coordinator, spent a lot of time watching tape of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the offseason, studying how those two quarterbacks manage the game. And Cavanaugh says he's really seen improvement from Palko in that regard of managing the game from all of that studying of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the offseason.
See if he can manage 3rd down and 10. Louisville walking up a few bodies to the line. They brought one. It was blocked. It's going to be 4th down and 10. So we'll get a look at Adam Gressel, one of the better punters in the nation. 11th in the country, in fact, in net punting.
Pitt able to move the ball a little bit, but stalled out here, but they will have field position after this, you would think. Louisville went to that blitz 3 times on that drive. They decided to heat it back up.
Trent Guy, the wide receiver. Back deep to return this punt around his 10-yard line. Trying to aim this one. This is really high. That's a fine punt. That is really going to work out well for the Pitt Panthers.
Better than that.
That's unbelievable. There you see the beanbag to mark where that ball is going to wind up. And exactly after the 39-yard kick, how much territory Louisville will have to cover. Well, let's get to our game track presented by John Hancock, and this is the controversial play, Ray.
Yeah, and I still dispute the indisputable evidence. I think this is a catch. I think he makes a football move when he goes to tuck the ball away. That's a football move.
However,
right.
It had a happy ending for the Pitt Panthers because of HB Blades again.
Well, Blades said, all right, you won't give me the forced fumble. I'll just go block a field goal, and we'll finish it that way.
And we'll give you the explanation from the replay booth following this snap. Anthony Allen is the tailback. And he'll get it out to the 7-yard line. Now, we did contact and Blades, of course, again on the stopper, so it seems he's in on every play. We did contact the replay official, and his explanation was, Nick Craner was his name, that it was not an issue of control, but it was the fact that he thought that there was not a football move made. And that was the opinion of the replay official as to why that call was overturned. We, in the first half, quickly thought it was the correct call made on the field and disagreed with the replay official. But I needed to find out from you, Ray, in a moment what he could have meant by that, by football move.
I wish I could tell you.
That's Brock Boland. He slipped a little bit and wasn't going to go very far anyway. Joe Clermont has played very well, the junior from Tampa. Well, anyway, people at home, they're going to be wondering, what's a football move?
A football move, in my estimation, is a football move. I mean, it's pretty nebulous as far as what it could be. But I think the interpretation is to make a football move, he had to have time to get his feet settled, see the defender, and try to put a move on him. Now, to me, the football move was he caught the ball and he switched arms with it. To me, and he had 2 feet hit the ground. That's a football move. When you're moving the ball around, he obviously had the football. I thought it was a legitimate forced fumble.
3rd down and 6. Brown trying to work out of his end zone, and he gets them the first down. The receiving core for Louisville, Douglas, who made the catch there, and Arrutia having big days. 14 yards and a first down for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and Pitt is still yet to get after the quarterback, Brom. They have not hit him all day long, and if you're going to not get that kind of pressure on Brian Brom, he will pick you apart, and that's what he's been doing.
Looks like Duncan may have gotten a piece of this pass, and he did actually. He got 2 big claws on that and was not able to knock it to the ground.
Wow, look how he's rushing, Dave. He's not even trying to put pressure. He's trying to get into a throwing lane and get his hands up.
They almost hit Brown from the backside. That's one of his few poor throws of the evening. It brings up 2nd down and 10. Brian Bennett providing the pressure there from the linebacker spot. The senior getting the start today.
And you see Pitt now trying to get mix a blitz or 2 in there to get a little pressure on Brown. They realize, you know, it's kind of how do you want to die? You know, you could blitz and let him carve you up because you can't cover one-on-one. You don't match the speed up very well across the board. Or you don't blitz and you try to play zone and you give Brom time to find the guy. It's a tough way to deal with things.
And Brom doing the walk up to the line, changes the play from the shotgun to under center. And they check off to the run, and it seemed like a pretty good idea as Colby Smith dragging Rashad Duncan all the way to the first down marker. It looks like he may have been given the first down.
Yeah, and they ran this play right into a blitz from the outside, and it was 2 ships in the night. Smith blew right past it.
Well, one thing we've noticed, and it's been flawless so far, and Brian Brom had a thumb injury. In fact, he had thumb surgery in September on the 17th, and he's actually changed the way he takes the center snap to protect that thumb, although the thumb is fine, but I guess it's just like changing your putting grip. Once you get used to it, you stick with it if it works.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a look at that and be able to show you exactly what we're talking about in terms of his hand position.
Barnage got some room to work here. And fought off kind of not a complete tackle that time as the defender, Clint Session, went for the hit and not the wrap, and it cost him a few yards. 15-yard pickup that time for Gary Barnage, who averages, this is outstanding for a tight end, about 18 yards per catch.
You know, we talked about Brian Brom and his thumb injury, and it's amazing to me how quickly he came back from that. You know, missing just 2 ball games. That's a lot of healing to me, is your mind. How quickly do you want to be back? And obviously he wanted to get back in a hurry.
Looks like Pitt brought some pressure that time. On the go to the fullback. And Brock Boland. 25-20. He uses the stiff arm and all the way down inside the 15-yard line. No flags on that play. They're going to be down to the 13-yard line. The sophomore from Germantown, Ohio, who did not play last year because of injuries, burns the Pitt defense.
He catches him in a blitz, and then there's no linebacker to fold over the top to make that play. So once you get through that first line of defenders, now you're off and running into the open field. And the big guy Boland shows you he's got some moves, and he does carry the ball pretty good.
Well,
6.5 yards per carry.
I was going to say, though, it's got to drive you crazy. If you're Pitt, you're always worried about Smith and Arruti and Douglas, and then the fullback kills you. Well, this time they get him back. He loses yards on that. All right, Ray, take us through what we're talking about here with the hands and Brom.
Well, there's Brom, and it's that thumb. It's his right thumb, his top thumb. And so you're going to see how he kind of overlaps the thumbs, which is kind of different. Most quarterbacks will take their thumbs and they'll put them together like this. He's overlapping them so that when he takes that ball, there's no pressure on that hurt thumb, that right thumb, that throwing finger, throwing hand thumb. And so he's gone to a different way to receive the snap in order to protect himself.
Loss of 2 on that brings up 2nd and 12. But Louisville so deadly in the red zone. They go to Urrutia. He's got a chance to score, and he will get the first down, it looks like, but that will be all. But that's enough, actually. That's a 13-yard pickup.
Well, he's a tough guy to cover. And when he runs a crossing route, you just don't have people with the speed to keep up with him. You see him get beat. He beats Brady again running across the field. And, they just don't have the speed to match up with him on those underneath crossing routes. The only time they really got him, and that was actually a different receiver, H.B. Blades, sits in the middle and headhunts. And that's what you have to do. You have to have somebody on that backside looking out for it.
10th play of the drive for the Cardinals. And that's Allen, and he won't get it. Or will he?
They're gonna call it.
Yeah, they blew the whistle.
Great effort, though, huh?
He didn't quit. I'm sure his coaches will be pleased with him on that, but that's going to get it down to about the 1. Anthony Allen, who had a touchdown called back earlier. Sam Bryant making the stop, and also Kennard Cox in that wrestling match down there.
It'll make it 2nd and goal.
And Anthony Allen has got a nose for the end zone. He's got 10 touchdowns, and they love him down in this area because of the kind of effort that he gives, like we saw in that last play.
This drive is going to go about 98 yards if they can get it in the end zone, and they do. Touchdown, Louisville. What an impressive way to start your offense out as Barnage gets his 2nd touchdown of the season. And by the way, no flags.
This is just a bootleg, and you lose track of the tight end because everybody's so geared up to stop the run. Now there's the tight end on the backside. You're also going to get the fullback running through to the flat. That tight end's going to come over here, and he's going to end up wide open on the backside. See Barnage get through there. Nobody from the front side's looking for him. Nobody's got him man-to-man. Great play call by Bobby Petrino down there.
His brother may be the offensive coordinator, Paul Petrino, but Bobby calls all the plays, and he dialed up a touchdown for his 8th-ranked Louisville Cardinals. 31-17 now. Can the Pitt Panthers do something as Brian Brom has thrown his 10th touchdown pass of the season? Also the Saints and the Vikings. The Bucks have that beautiful Raymond James Stadium, Chargers and San Diego State, and the new Lincoln Financial Field for the Owls and the Eagles.
And I would say that Pittsburgh has as close a relationship with their NFL parent team, if you will, than any of the others. They have the same practice facility. They share the buildings there. They obviously share this stadium, but there's a nice synergy between the two.
Very short kickoff, and that will bring Robinson up to nearly the 10-yard line. But Louisville has really bottled him up. 30-yard average, and he just didn't get very far at all. Only 17 yards on the return. Well, we always talk about what kind of adjustments do coaches make at halftime and all that. Look at Louisville in the 3rd quarter, what they have done this season.
Yeah, that's just an amazing number there. 98 points to 22 for your opponent, and what that tells you is that your coaching staff's pretty good. They'll go in there and make some really nice adjustments at halftime, and then your players pick up on it as well. You got a corner blitz coming. He faked it.
Oh, and this is intercepted by Gay. And all of a sudden, the bottom is beginning to fall out of the Panthers' chances of winning this football game. Their defense has been put into a bad hole.
Well, Palco saw what I saw. The corner, William Gay, sneaking up. So he's thinking, okay, I got that corner blitz. There he is right there. But he backed out instead. And Palco didn't recognize it. And he threw it right to William Gay. That's a nice bluff by Gay on the corner blitz, and then backs out right into the throwing lane. That's a heck of a play. It's a good call up top, too, by the defensive coordinator, Mike Cassidy.
That is Gay's team-leading 5th interception and gives the Cardinals killer field position at the 24-yard line. Stripling the back, goes in motion. Why not go to Urrutia? You have all day with great success. And he is wrestled out of bounds by Kennard Cox.
Brian Brohm is just an impressive quarterback. He just makes every throw. The accuracy, I think, is the thing that differentiates him from others. He puts the ball right where it needs to be most of the time, and especially when he has time to throw.
And he has had time all day.
Yeah, he's had a couple of balls tipped, but other than that, he hasn't been hit, has not been sacked. Got a clean jersey down there.
Now Bolin in from the fullback spot. He had a big run earlier. This time they were waiting for him. No gain, and he did not get the first down. Well, Eric Wood, we've talked about him, the ability at center, a sophomore from Cincinnati. And Vince, this is an interesting story. This guy has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders.
Yeah, Dave, all the line calls in the Cardinals running game are made by Eric Wood. He made his 23rd consecutive start here today, but what makes that number amazing is that he's just a sophomore. Wood was a freshman when he stepped into the starting lineup last year. Pretty rare in college football to have a freshman as your starting center.
Brown with a good play action fake, dumped off the pass to tight end coming out, and it will be a first down. Session on the stop on Scott Kuhn. That is Kuhn's 7th catch of the season, and it will move the chains for the Cardinals.
You know, we're talking about Eric Wood. Last year he was surrounded by veterans when he was just a freshman. Now, as a sophomore, believe it or not, he is the veteran, but the coaches were telling us he's smart, he's talented, experienced, and he's going to be around a while now, just a sophomore, and that's certainly good news for this Louisville offense. He does a good job. You talked about Brian Brohm having his jersey clean tonight, and that's one of the reasons why is 77 Eric Wood.
In the red zone again, Louisville about 96%. And they may get another touchdown. They do. That is Spillman. Juwan Spillman, the freshman from Louisville, gets his first touchdown of the season on a 13-yard carry, and now the Cardinals have busted this one open.
Oh, that's just the speed of Spillman winning the race around the edge. They had good blocking over there on that edge, but he hit the gas pedal, and there was nobody from Pitt who could catch it.
Art Carmody beyond attack on the PAT. Louisville in the red zone this year has only missed 3 times, and they are perfect today. 38-17, and now the real challenge on Tyler Palko is to find a way to get the Panthers back in this game.
Take a look at this touchdown. You're going to see here's Spillman. He's just going to come around and outrace everybody. Kind of a jet sweep type thing. He's got a little lead from the fullback out that way, Stripling, and that's just speed getting to the edge.
So again, to use the poker expression, the Panthers go all in.
It's a big bootleg down. You got a couple tight ends up top.
Here comes a heavy blitz. And it's knocked away. Coverage by Abe Brown that time as they try to go to Nate Byam. And the Panthers cannot convert on their 4th attempted 4th down. Louisville in control at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh played against West Virginia, Ray. Great, competitive, exciting first half. Second half, their offense went away, and West Virginia pulled away. Now it's happening here.
Right, and they have the trouble with contending with a lot of speed on the perimeter over 4 quarters.
3rd down and 4 here. Stripling the back. A little shovel pass. And that's Spillman, and he has the first down.
Shovel pass goes to 26, Juwan Spillman.
So Juwan Spillman, who's made 1 big touchdown already with a big play there, because that means Pitt is going to have to suffer through some more plays unless they can force a turnover. Kenzie Matthews in on the stop.
Play carries to the 33-yard line. First down and 10.
Brian Brohm today has passed Stephon LaFours for number 4 all-time in Louisville pass yards. And that's Stripling. Nobody's touched him yet. They finally shove him out of bounds after almost getting the first down. Well, Bedlam 101 continues. Reese Davis has the latest. Reese.
And there for the Cowboy.
2nd and short. And this play will never happen. Find out, did Pitt jump or were they induced?
They definitely jumped.
Yeah, you're right about that. Did they have help?
The question is, were they induced?
Dead ball. Offsides on the defense. There was contact, number 93. 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
And this is a nice job again by the center, Eric Wood. You see him, number 77 right there. He's going to see him in that neutral zone, and then you snap it immediately. Quarterback takes a knee, and you count your 5 yards.
And that gives a first down to the Cardinals.
First and 10 from the Pitt 19.
Mistakes with a mistake out of Cooper City. That's a South Florida town near Fort Lauderdale. Again, Brom, and this time he's got room. Well, they'll hit him here. No, they won't, actually. He still managed to avoid being hit. Gets 9 on that scramble. Bennett forced him down.
Dave, you probably noticed, you see the hand holding that goes on here by this offensive line by Louisville, and this is a great way to help out your offensive tackles, because usually you got to look in. You see that where the eyes are looking, the tackle does not have to look in at the ball. He knows when to go. He can keep his eyes outside and keep them on rushers. He knows when to go as the guard looks in at the ball, and when he moves that hand, then the tackle knows as well. He doesn't have to cheat his eyesight inside. He can look up at the rushers.
Plenty of time again for Brom as he buys time and throws the dart flag down, and it's a touchdown for Scott Kuhn. But Louisville's had 2 touchdowns wiped out by penalties already, so I'm sure on that sideline they're not going to celebrate just yet.
Yeah, they've seen it. They've seen it a couple of times already. They're going to make sure.
Pass interference on the offense.
There you go.
Number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay second down.
Well, they finally found something that Mario Rucci didn't do well. That penalty is on him, but that is another touchdown wiped out.
Well, here's Urruti on the outside. He's going to run an inside route and try and screen the defender right there. And the thing that got him was the push off at the end. That wasn't a pick like you normally see, but it was a push off, and I don't know. That's a tough one to call to me. It really didn't affect the play. He wasn't the intended receiver. You seldom see that in that situation.
That would be 18 points lost to penalties today by Louisville. 3rd touchdown called back because of a penalty against them. And nothing happens on that play there. Bolin wrapped up very, very quickly by Mackenzie Matthews, among others. But they've had poor luck with the officials today. Rashad Duncan also in there. So think of where we would be if not for that. Brings up 3rd down. And they've got about 16 to go. Matthews only a freshman. 18 seniors in their last game for the Pitt Panthers today here at Heinz Field. Just gunned it in there, but knocked away. Good coverage that time on Arudium. Kennard Cox was in on that group. Adam Gunn also.
Yeah, big square in route by Urrutia, and he got to the chains. Had he caught it, it would have been a first down. A good defense there by Cox.
And you would think that Art Carmody would be the man to call on here, and here he comes. His streak of consecutive field goals was snapped when one was blocked today. He had 16 in a row at one point. The block was unbelievable because of the way that H.B. Blades was able to roll right into the middle. I'm going to assume that they're going to make an adjustment on that as he goes for 43 yards, 42 yards out.
There's Blades right there.
And they blocked him this time, and the field goal is good. So it's going to be that much harder for the Pitt Panthers to come back at home as they trail by 24 at Heinz Field on ESPN College Football.
Nose tackle, Okoye back, and then he rushed on a delayed rush, but you still play zone behind that, so you're pretty well off in terms of getting beat one-on-one.
5th time they've gone for it on 4th down. They're really going for it all here. Kinder one-on-one, and it's intercepted.
What do? You got to knock that down.
Gavin Smart came away with a football.
But he wasn't very smart about what he did. That you knock it down so your football team has better field position.
They'll get it to the 20 instead of the 30-yard line. We'll be back. The interception for Gavin Smart, his 2nd on the season, but maybe he should have let this one go through his fingers.
Notre Dame, they beat UCLA, then I think they're going to get that bid. Now, if they don't, then I think Michigan might sneak in there. You know, Florida still has a chance, but a couple close wins. They haven't really been impressive. Arkansas that might just knock them off, and that could. I'd love to see a rematch. I'd love to see Michigan Ohio State again.
Down the middle, going to try to end the game right here with Douglas. It's a foot race, and they won't catch him. Touchdown for Louisville. 75 yards. Harry Douglas, his 4th touchdown on the year.
Oh, and again, Brom with all the time in the world, just throwing a perfect strike down the field. And didn't like what I saw at the end of that, though. Kennard Cox needs to finish that play. That's an embarrassment.
Yeah, he did not run that play out. You're right. I'm sure he'll hear about it from his defensive coaches and maybe even from Dave Wannstedt.
I'm sure he will. You know, I don't mind Douglas trotting it in, but the thing, he shouldn't be allowed to trot in, and that's got to come from Cox chasing him all the way down.
PAT is tacked on. Louisville has doubled the score.
Take a look at this thing from way up in the rafters. Here's your matchup right here, and it's just a go route to the middle of the field. You're going to see Cox. He's up there in that press coverage, but he doesn't really alter the route. And if you don't alter the route, there's no sense in being in press coverage, because then it's a foot race and you've got your back. You're starting out backwards, and you're not going to win that one very often. So you got to be more powerful with the punch of the hands to disrupt the route. If you don't do that, you're going to lose the foot race.
Now, my question would be, where were the safeties? Obviously, what kind of coverage do they have there? They left the middle of the field so open.
Cover 0. It means there's 0 men in the middle.
Well, here's Brom on his pass chart so far. That got fattened up with that down the middle completion.
Yeah, right there, the home run ball down the middle. But you look at it, these numbers all over the place are pretty good for Brian Brom. An outstanding day, just 8 incompletions, 337 yards, 4 touchdowns. Don't get much better than that.
He is the all-time pass percentage leader at Louisville, and he hasn't done anything to hurt that today. Rob plays of over 40 yards this season. Well, they can add on some more of that today. 11 runs of over 25 yards. 13 games under Bobby Petrino of over 50 points, which they still have an outside chance of getting at today. That was a good throw by Palco. That's about as good as you could have put that ball in there, but fine coverage that time against Pistano. And looks like Latarius Thomas came in there to knock it loose. You hear a little bit of noise in the stadium. That's from one section of those in the red and black celebrating what now certainly appears to be a win for their 8th-ranked Louisville Cardinals.
And Louisville, you know, they look back on things. They had a 25-7 lead over Rutgers.
Yeah.
And they really had control of that ball game. And then they went and they fumbled it a couple of times, and they couldn't get it going in the second half. That's the one that they're always going to go look back on and say woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Brian Brom's day is over. Hunter Cantwell, who played 2 starts for Brom after the thumb surgery in September, is in there now. Cantwell also started the Gator Bowl last year versus Virginia Tech and did very well. Well, let's see how this game impacts the Big East standings. Rutgers and Louisville. Louisville will be 5-1 and go to 10-1 overall. But the season is not over for the Cardinals. They play UConn while Rutgers goes to Morgantown. And that's the game that everyone from Louisville is going to be watching, because if West Virginia scores the win over Rutgers and Louisville can beat UConn, Louisville goes to the BCS representing #1 in the Big East.
All right, so it's coming down to the very wire, the last game of the year to determine the Big East champion. And it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out, because that game's a toss-up to me. I think even West Virginia might even be favored in that ball game against Rutgers.
Yeah, at home, that's going to be tough. Sergio Spencer getting some carries at running back now. You see Hunter Cantwell.
In fact, I'd be very surprised if Rutgers would be able to beat West Virginia myself. And that's going to put these Louisville Cardinals into a BCS bowl.
Brian Brom's numbers on the day. I know his brother, the quarterback's coach,
I guess
Jeff Brom.
He did have a little dirt on the jersey there on the back.
I think somebody must have touched him on his own team. Maybe he brushed against somebody in a huddle or something. I was going to say Jeff Brom is quarterback's coach, and his older brother's pretty tough on him, but I'll bet Jeff eases up on the gas a little bit, at least tonight, until film study.
Yeah, that's a fine line when your brother's the coach. It's a little different because your brother's before your coach and player, and so brothers can do things and say things to each other that other people can't.
You sound like a man with some experience.
I've got a couple brothers, and they've said them to me. Not that I would say them to them. But.
No, not you. No way. Getchie will punt. His last punt went 5 yards and almost earned him a timeout with Bobby Petrino. This one's a lot better. Rivas, a punt return for a touchdown earlier this year, and he just ran out of room. Picked up about 10 on the return following a 48-yard punt.
Excited about the upcoming one, and he thinks that they're on the build.
Oh, and Tyler Palco's last play, perhaps as the Pitt quarterback, he just got belted from behind by Malik Jackson and shaken up. Hopefully he will be all right. This one is over. It is a win for Bobby Petrino's Louisville team, taking a big step toward a Big East championship with their 10th victory on the season, as they knock off the Pittsburgh Panthers 48-24. That's our final score. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, as Bobby Petrino and Dave Wanstead have shaken their hands, and off to their locker rooms they go. On behalf of Ray Bentley, Vince Welch, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Lamont, saying good night from Pittsburgh. Now we want you to stay tuned for the ESPN College Football Pizza Hut scoreboard. Good night and happy holidays from Pittsburgh.